Recording in progress.
We start now? Yep.
Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for making the time to be here today. I'm Minakami, Executive Director of the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation. I'll be chairing the Beyond Barriers Working Group today. Alongside me are my co-chairs, Mary Alice Evans, who is the Director of the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development, and Hakeem Monsafi, Executive Director of the Hawaii Public Housing Authority. I would like to call this meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, December 20th, and the time is 10:01 a.m. Before we begin, let's go over our public meeting protocols. We are holding this meeting virtually on Zoom, teleconference call, and we have opened the HHFPC boardroom located at 677 Queen Street, room 300, for all the public to view, participate in the meeting today. For those who are here to testify, let me go over some rules for testimony. Testimony may be limited to 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, roll call time. You will have 15 seconds to conclude your testimony. Testimony must be related to the agenda item. Before you begin, we ask that you identify yourself by stating your name, organization, representing organization. Please keep in mind that this is an opportunity for you to share your thoughts with us. Ask questions during your testimony. Either the board or staff is required to provide a response. For those here virtually, please keep your camera off and microphone muted until you're called on. So please do not use the chat functions for comments because it presents an accessibility and sunshine issue. For anyone who wishes to submit written testimony, instructions for doing so are on the agenda. And board members, as much as possible, please keep your camera on. If you have to leave the meeting before the meeting is adjourned, please inform us so that we can maintain our records accurately. I'll take roll call to establish a quorum. Board members, when I call your name with your camera on, please confirm your attendance and state whether anyone is present in the room with you. Okay. Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
Here. Oh, state my name. Mary Alice Evans.
Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism.
Present. Jimmy Tokioka, and nobody else is in the room.
Thank you. Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Aloha, good morning. This is Don Chang. I'm Chair of the Board of Land and Natural Resources. Nobody else is in the room with me. Thank you.
Chair Chang. State Historic Preservation Division. Historic Preservation Division, Commission on Water Resource Management. Land Use Commission.
Good morning, Daniel Oradanker, Executive Officer for the Land Use Commission. No one is in the room with me.
Thank you, Daniel. Department of Health.
Good morning, Kenny Fink. No one's in the room with me.
Thank you. Department of Transportation. Public Housing Authority.
Hakim Wansapi here in the public room.
Thank you. Department of Budget and Finance. Chair of the House Committee on Housing.
Here, Luke Epstein. Nobody's in the room with me.
Earthland. Chair of the Senate Committee on Housing.
Stanley Chang, here by myself.
Sir. Oahu Island Burial Council.
Scott Mahoney, Hawaii Island Burial Council. I'm alone.
Mayor, County of Honolulu. Indian County of Honolulu, Department of Planning and Permitting. Indian County of Honolulu Office of Housing. Indian County of Honolulu Board of Water Supply. Hawaii Island Burial Council.
Yeah, excuse me. I introduced myself earlier as Hawaii Island Burial Council, Scott Mahoney.
Okay, how about Molokai Island Burial Council?
Aloha aina tako, Kelmeilani Hanapi Hiraka, Molokai Island Burial Council Chair, holdover, and currently no one is with me.
Okay. Maui Lanai Island Burial Council. County of Maui. County of Maui Planning Department. County of Maui Department of Housing and Human Concerns. County of Maui Department of Public Works. County of Maui Department of Water Supply.
Good morning, John Stuffelbean. I'm alone. Good to see you all.
Thank you. Hawaii Nihau Island Burial Council. County of Kauai Mayor's Office. LT of Kauai Housing Agency.
Hi, Adam Reversi. I'm a housing director for the county of Kauai, and I'm alone.
Thank you, Adam. LT of Kauai Planning Department. LT of Kauai Public Works Department. LT of Kauai Department of Water Supply. Kauai Island Utility Cooperative. Hawaii Island Burial Council. Scott, we got you down previously, so thank you. LT of Hawaii Mayor's Office. LT of Hawaii Office of Housing and Community Development. LT of Hawaii Planning Department. LT of Hawaii Public Works. LT of Hawaii Department of Water Supply. Hawaiian Electric Company.
Colton Ching for Hawaii Electric, and I am by myself.
Thank you. Or Consulting.
Present. Trisha
Thank
Locke,
you.
Bruno, thanks.
Executive Director of Hawaii Housing Hawaii's Future.
Sterling Higa, present without any guests.
Sterling. Economic Research Organization of the University of Hawaii.
Carl Bonham, present, all by myself.
Carl. Executive Director of the Sierra Club.
Wayne Tanaka here by myself.
Thank you. Executive Director of the Land Use Research Foundation. We have a forum. Okay.
And it's about maybe representing itself. He's in the Isabel Wong might be representing Director Salaberry. Isabel Wong. She's. Let's give Isabel Wong.
What back to Department of Budget and Fiscal Budget and Finance. Isabel Wong, are you representing you're on behalf of Louis Salaberry?
No, I'm not on behalf of Director Salaberry today.
That was
Or. And meeting 23. You don't have phone.
Is there anyone who joined late or went to the roll call? Was not called?
Can you tell those?
Again, right now we are short on quorum, so if you joined the meeting late during roll call, please let me know who you're representing.
With Oahu and Borough Council. Or Suhako should be,
Is she there?
yeah, I thought we covered.
Yeah. Oh, it's she represents the community.
So Lori Suhako, you're joined now, correct?
That's correct.
Is there anybody in the room with you?
I'm sitting in the Emergency Operations Center at Wailuku.
Understood, thank you. Kamana'o Mills.
Present.
Okay, here for the Oahu Island Area Council.
That's correct.
20, we're still short.
We're still short 3 members for quorum.
Jan is signing on. Horndecker for LUC.
Yeah, we already had Dan Ordenker.
Okay, sorry.
So just to go over the members who we are not present. State Historic Preservation Division, and Water Resource Management, Department of Transportation, Department of Budget and Finance, Mayor, City and County of Honolulu, City and County of Honolulu, Department of Planning and Permitting, City and County of Honolulu, Office of Housing, Honolulu Board of Water Supply, Maui Lanai Island Burial Council, Mayor County of Maui, Maui County Planning Department, Maui County Department of Public Works, Hawaii Niihau Island Burial Council, Mayor County of Kauai, Hawaii County Planning Department, Hawaii County Public Works Department, Hawaii County Department of Water, Hawaii Island Utility Cooperative, Mayor County of Hawaii, Hawaii County Office of Housing and Community Development, Hawaii County Planning Department, Hawaii County Department of Public Works, Hawaii County Department of Water Supply, and Land Use Research Foundation. So if you are from one of those organizations, let us know so that we can include you.
Dawn also has her hand up, so maybe she has a solution. Well, I have contacted SHPD and CWRM, reminded them about the meeting, unless I can represent them as well. Oh, here's Alan Downer. Here's Alan.
Alan Downer and David Araki.
Okay, we have David Arakawa present and Alan Downer. Alan, is there anyone present in the room with you?
No.
Thank you. David Arakawa, anyone in the room with you?
No, just myself.
Thank you. More person.
Hi, maybe just a question. I thought originally, and maybe it was changed, that the working group at any given project was only inclusive of the county in which that project was taking place. Is that not the case? In which case we would have quorum.
We want it's the city and county. Yes, yeah, we don't have quorum either. Well, the issue in that case is that many people from city, county, and Honolulu are not present.
But if the total number of members doesn't necessarily include the other counties, we would have quorum here today. Correct?
And Craig, I just contacted CWORM and asked them to send someone to join the meeting so that we can have quorum. They should be joining shortly.
14, actually.
Also, if we can just cover the non-action items or do you have to have quorum to convene the meeting or to take action?
No. We don't have quorum to convene the meeting. That's the problem.
Okay, okay. I think someone from CWORM should be joining very shortly.
Dean, I didn't hear when you were talking about the people. This is Jimmy Tokioka. The people that were not in attendance. Is anyone from DBED not here, so I can try to call them to get them on?
I believe everyone from DBED present. But thank you.
I reached out to city and county to see if we can get somebody. We don't have anybody from DPP, right?
No.
Just texted Lewis.
Lewis is in Lahaina and has a conflict. Maybe he can send a rep.
Assign someone.
Yeah.
Set Isabel straight with them. Set Isabel from BNF should be good.
Kasi sila representative na.
Yep.
Louis is saying Isabel is from here for BNF.
Isabel, is that correct? You can represent Dr. Salaverio?
I'm here, I'm from BNF. I'm here monitoring in his absence. I wasn't necessarily given authority to vote on matters. But I can check in with him right now.
Thank you.
Check. He's calling. Why did he have to say that? See why she. They sent a message to Don and Kevin. On the city screens. Let's check.
Well, if Isabel can confirm with Louis, then we should have quorum. So let's just let her check.
That's correct.
Yeah, let's just let her check.
Isabel, Louis just texted me that yes, he can represent him.
Okay, sorry, I just got off the phone. Yes, I'm here on behalf of Salaveria.
Thanks for
Okay,
checking in,
thank you.
Isabel. Thank you.
Okay, we
Thank
have
Louis
quorum.
for- Thank
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We'll now move on to agenda item number 3. Approving the November 2023 Go Beyond Barriers draft meeting minutes, which were distributed to all members before this meeting. Members may have a motion to approve the November 14, 2023 Go Beyond Barriers draft meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of the November 14, 2023 minutes.
I second. Trisha Watson, Honua Consulting. I second.
We have a motion and a second. I will now open the floor to hearing testimony on this agenda item. And we'll start by hearing testimony. Well, there's no one here in person, so if there's anyone here either on phone or online, please indicate that you're here to testify on this matter. Okay. Okay, board members, are there any discussions, questions, or corrections to the draft meeting summary? I'm sorry, Wayne?
Yeah, Chair is Wayne Tanaka. We just wanted to correct the minutes. It says that I asked that the previous minutes include like something about the discussion between me and Sterling, but what I asked for was that previous minutes include my request that we have a discussion about our foundational issues, including rules of procedure, conflicts of interest, ethics, scope and role working group, enforcement, compliance, and so forth. So just want to correct that in the minutes. And also like to make that same request that we have an open discussion about these foundational matters. The minutes for today.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. We will make the correction to the minute that we asked about foundational matters. Other corrections to the minutes? I see no hands raised.
Okay, Mailani has her hand up.
Sorry, or hand raised.
Yeah, Milani.
Okay, Mailani, please go ahead.
Hi, aloha, Kelmelani, Hanapi Hirata, Molokai Island Burial Council. So I thought we discussed this about the meeting minutes and the way that they're going to be summarized at our last meeting. So are we now going to detail out? So what Wayne just asked, if we're gonna do that, then we should do it for everything. If not, just leave it as is, as summarizing it. I mean, should we have a discussion about it? Because at the end of the day, anybody can read the summary of the meeting minutes, or they can watch it in its entirety and listen to it word for word. So I just like clarification on that process.
The intent is not to have a verbatim summary of minutes. It is just to summarize the discussion topics. But if members wish to clarify or go into more detail to amend the minutes, reflect that, such as what Mr. Tanaka has requested, we can include more detail upon their request.
Okay, thank you for that, Chair. I mean, I just don't like be reading pages and pages of pages of meeting minutes. But okay, but respectfully to Wayne and his mana'o and what he has requested, I'm not getting into that. But I just wanted for my part to be clear on what the process is going forward in the way that you guys give the draft the meeting minutes. But that's okay. Mahalo, Chair. Maybe we can either discuss this later or now. It doesn't matter to me, but mahalo.
Thank you. Any other comments or corrections to the minutes? Okay, there being no further comments, the vote is unanimous and the draft of the minutes are approved as corrected. Oh, I'm sorry.
Call for the vote.
Are there any members, are there any objections or wishes to abstain from accepting the minutes as corrected? Okay, there being no objections or no wishing to abstain, the vote is unanimous and the draft summary is approved as corrected. Thank you, everyone. We'll now move on to agenda item 4A. And this agenda item, certification and the Go Beyond Barriers Working Group that the project proponent 1060 Bishop Street LLC's project, which is called 1060 Bishop Street, meets the criteria under the governor's second proclamation relating to affordable housing as an affordable housing project that's eligible to receive emergency relief from sections 302A, 1601, 1612, Hawaii revised statutes, which relates to its school impact fees. Members may have a motion to accept a certification from Build Beyond Barriers Working Group, confirming that the proposed project by 1060 Bishop Street LLC, known as 1060 Bishop Street, satisfies the criteria outlined in the governor's second proclamation relating to affordable housing, qualifying it as an affordable housing project. Furthermore, this certification deems the project eligible to receive relief from sections HRS sections 302A, 16 to 1612. And they have a
Member Higa,
motion.
so moved.
So moved.
Sterling, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'd now like to open the floor to the project proponent, Robert Corizo, who will do a presentation on the project.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for your time. Robert Carisu, leading the project over at 1060 Bishop Street. I don't have a formal presentation, but I can briefly talk through at a high level what the project is. So in 2019, the building was vacated by HPU. It's on Bishop Street in between Executive Center and 1000 Bishop Street, which is where 24-hour fitness and territorial savings is. It's a mid-rise, 7-story building. Used to house a lot of faculty offices, the athletic department, and I think the library for HPU. And when they vacated, we had an empty office building. So fast forwarding to early 2020, we made a decision to seek a conversion into affordable housing rental units. And so the design that's currently underway is 52 apartment units, 17 studios, 31 bedrooms, 5 2-bedrooms. All of them will be offered at 80% of the area median income, or 80% EMI. Because it's a former office building, there's already an elevator. There's fire sprinkler safety systems. There's a 7-Eleven and UPS store downstairs. There's a rooftop deck, and on the mezzanine level, there's a laundry facility, some storage, and office meeting space, a manager's unit, and security office. The units will have appliances, and the rents will align with the 80% EMI rental limits. Rents will include utilities, and parking is available for anyone who wants or needs it. That's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you, Robert, for the information. Members, do you have any questions for Robert? Thank you. I will now open the floor to hearing testimony on this agenda item. Sorry. Wayne, do you have a question?
Yeah, so for the school impact fee exemption, I was wondering like roughly how much how much would that be worth? And have you discussed this with the DOE and or the HSTA?
Robert, can you just discuss those items with the DOE and HSTA?
We've met with DOE in the past. I have not met with HSTA.
And how does DOE feel about the fee exemption waiver?
I believe they're supportive. Just in alignment with trying to provide housing for even teachers and DOE employees in the area. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, is there anything, so will you be marketing or prioritizing teachers then? I mean, one of the impetuses behind the proclamation is to ensure housing for essential folks like our teachers and nurses and so forth. So just wondering, I don't want to shortchange the DOE and our schools, which should be, contrary to what.
Nope, that's a really good point and question. I mean, we can't, I guess, discern or limit, but early on in the beginning, we proposed the idea of offering it to teachers first. But again, we're welcoming anybody who's qualified to live there, and we love to give teachers a shot at for sure.
Okay, so you will be giving teachers a fresh dibs or um and how maybe I guess the can work out for some of the teachers set. I guess you could
80%. Wayne, I think for giving preference to teachers, that might be something that they want to follow fair housing laws. That may not be possible.
I don't think teaching is a protected class, but okay, so with the I guess we're 80% AMI, is there any uh like do you know how that breaks out in terms of what you need to qualify for a mortgage, down payment, debt to income ratio?
Those.
It's a rental, Wayne.
What's oh, okay. Oh, wait, because it used Bill 7, right? Isn't Bill 7 a CPR?
Bill 7 is to promote the development of affordable rentals up to 80% AMI, specific to the city and county of Honolulu.
Okay, sorry, maybe I was just looking at the wrong bill then.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I'll yield for now. I think Kill My Line has a hand up though.
Mailani?
Aloha, Kelmelani Hanapi Hirata with the Molokai Island Burial Council. So I'm going to stay in my lane again. On page 14, which is section 5, plan for community input. So I have one question on B, where it says public meetings. So my question is, how much people attended the neighborhood meeting? Like you guys give a sign-in sheet that you can give me a number, and then any concerns that were raised by the community. And I'm sorry, my question is towards Robert.
I don't have the roll sheet. I don't know if I'm privy to take that with me from the meeting, but people were in attendance, both in a combination of virtual and in person. I just provide general context or feedback. People were supportive of the idea that people were converting underutilized office buildings and adding more residential use in downtown. It helps kind of activate and helps clean up the area. On the opposite side, one of the board members asked how we were going to address concerns about safety and just the general nature of the amount of action that happens in downtown. And my response was, people aren't the project to live in downtown isn't for everybody. So people are going to obviously have a choice. People who are going to live in the project, ideally, I'm imagining people who already live and work in downtown or live in the area and work in downtown. As part of that convenience factor. And just kind of over time, people just hopefully projects like ours will help clean up the area. So that was my response. Hope that answers your question.
Okay. Thank you for that, Robert. Staying with that question, that line of questioning for me, this for us as the Building Beyond Working Board Chair, whatever, okay, group. So Chair, I think going forward for these sections, because it says over here that additional information may be included as an attachment to this application. I would like to see a more summarized and not just a one sentence in this area. I would like to see maybe just a tally of how much people in the community showed up to the meeting, whether it was online, whether it wasn't, how many community meetings were done, and maybe just summarizing the community input. So for us, in our structuring of our application process, I would like to see that more addition, more details in this area, so we don't have to ask the people applying for these more questions. But I just wanted to know how much people showed up too. So anyway, thank you for that, Robert. Staying on the same page, and again in my lane, Page 14, section 5, plan for community input under C, stakeholder consultation. So stakeholder consultation, you guys have listed here the State Historic Preservation or State Historic Preservation Division submitted a letter to you folks on June 6th with recommendations. Do you want to, Robert, do you have the letter in front of you? Because again, it says over here, additional information may be included as an attachment to this application for us on the Building Beyond Barriers Working Group. Our HUI, we need to attach these documents so we can see them. When anybody goes and applies and works at the Planning Commission or the Planning Department and stuff, these letters are a part of their packet. So therefore, for us, we should require these types of consultation. You can read them in their entirety. I know it was summarized. Thank you for that in your application, Robert. I appreciate that. But for me, I like read what SHPD says and that be a part of the application process. So Robert, if you have it, would you like to read it? And if you don't, that's fine too.
Sorry, I apologize. I was on mute. Would it be more efficient if I emailed it to you folks, the letter from Shifty?
I think that if you email it to us, then we cannot make a decision today. And you like one decision, yeah, today. So I would
Can
rather
share
you
your
read them.
Can you share your screen, Robert, or would it be you can read?
You can also just drop it in the chat if you.
That's good. Sure. Drop it in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Downer.
Alan, you have your hand raised, so you can share the letter.
I don't have the letter in front of me, and just to be clear, our letter pertains to historic preservation issues, not to the waiver of school fees.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to add this to the chat. It's a 2-page letter. I'm happy to read it aloud if that's helpful. Are you okay with that, Mr. Downer?
Absolutely.
Robert, you can read it. It is considered public information.
Okay. This was dated June 6, 2023. So thank you for the opportunity to comment on this request for review pursuant to HRS Chapter 6E42. Shifty initially reviewed this submittal on November 2nd, 2022. And additional information was submitted on November 30th, 2022. The proposed project is located in a multi-story mixed-use property that meets the definition of historic property pursuant to HRS 6E2. It also contributes to Hawaii and National Register Commercial Historic District that is bounded by Richard Street, Beretania Street, Bellevue Street, and limits Ala Moana Boulevard. The project scope of work includes conversion of office spaces to 51, which was corrected to 52. Affordable residential units that will result in both interior and exterior alterations to the structure. Based on the information provided, Shifty has reviewed the proposed project pursuant to HRS Chapter 6E42 and cannot concur with the scope of work. Shifty's determination is in effect with agreed upon mitigation commitments pursuant to HAR 13-284-7A2. Shifty recommends 1. Preservation of the historic resource by painting the new wall openings 3 feet 6 inches by 16 inches typical along the exterior facades to match the exterior wall treatment and minimize their visual impact. And 2, architectural recordation of the historic resource through completing a historic American Building Survey, HABS, and donate it to the National Park Service / National Archives to document the building prior to alteration and establish an archival record that may be used for future preservation purposes. As a mitigation for effect, if you agree with the recommended mitigation outlined above, please submit to SHPD a letter of agreement. If you disagree with the recommended mitigation, please contact SHPD to schedule a meeting to discuss the project. And so in essence, we replied affirmatively and agreed with the recommended mitigation that were in the letter.
Okay. Thank you, Robert. I just wanted to make sure we get that on the sorry, going forward, Chair, maybe we have to make sure that we don't take up so much time that can be part of the application packet. I just had 1 or 2 more questions, Robert. So, what have you guys encountered, or what has been you guys' roadblocks in working with the county planning department? Or have you guys even gone in front of them? Well, I'm sure you guys have. But yeah, any of the roadblocks you want to highlight for us?
In terms of roadblocks, I mean, I think it's I guess no one has really done a conversion per se through with utilizing Bill 7 before. Bill 7 itself is a newer program, so it's kind of learning lessons for everybody along the way. That's pretty much.
So it is, yeah. So I read the Bill 7. I understand it in its entirety. So what is your guys's your company that you guys represent? Why did you guys think it was better to come in front of and use the proclamation and come in front of the Building Beyond Barriers working group versus just finishing out the process through the planning department?
Well, our application for the working group is just for the school impact fees. Everything else has been done through the appropriate channels.
Got it. Okay. I just wanted to get some things on the record just for our meeting. But I'm fine. I'm done with my questioning. Thank you so much, Robert. And I think he has his
Sterling?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to point out that there are about 25 people in this meeting earning director level salaries. So assuming no cost for keeping the lights on in the meeting room or the many staff hours that were used to prepare, we're spending about $1,500 of taxpayer money to be here together. For that reason, I did my research in advance and I'll keep my remarks short. I recommend all members of the group do the same to save some taxpayer money. So first, there's a great report that you all can read that was released in September 2019 by the State of Hawaii Auditor called Report Number 1913, titled Audit of the Department of Education's Administration of School Impact Fees. And that report found that school impact fee law has been of questionable impact. So in the first 12 years after the law was adopted, the Department of Education collected about 5.3 million in school impact fees, but this amount is not nearly enough to build a new school. So Ho'okele Elementary School in Kapolei costs $55 million, and new schools today cost 80 million plus. So the impact fees we're talking about here don't actually help in building schools for the families paying the impact fees. The second thing is just remember that developers don't pay the impact fees. Developers add the impact fees to the cost of housing, so it's residents that end up paying for them. And the auditor's report found that there was not a clear nexus between the development of new residential units and the need for additional classroom capacity. So most of the urban Honolulu schools in this district, and I know this building well as a former instructor at Hawaii Pacific University. I once taught a few classes in the library there. The schools in this area have shrinking student populations. So whatever impact fee would be paid by the residents of this building isn't actually going to help them get new schools in the area. So for projects like this that are just asking for school impact fee waivers, I think it would be awesome if the meetings took about 10 minutes because there is no good reason to have the school impact fee. And the legislature this session should just repeal it and take it off the table so developers don't have to pay it.
Thank you, Sterling. Anybody else have any comments? Hakeem?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to thank you, Robert, for bringing this project. It's, as Sterling said, it's a really no-brainer. The meeting shouldn't take more than 5 minutes to approve it. You went beyond by reading the letter and other things that were not required because you're not asking for any exemptions for that. And the 80% EMI is something that we really need. So thank you and your team for bringing it. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
No, Mailani, please.
Mahalo, Sterling, for that, for all of that information in a summarized form. I read almost all of that also and did a little bit of vetting. So anyway, for us as the Building Beyond Barriers working group, again, I want to see the applications to have a lot of the information and all the supporting documents to be in here. So like Sterling said, we're not wasting a lot of time asking the questions, but it's important that in its entirety, we have all the information so we can make one good decision. Anyway, mahalo for that.
Yeah, Malani, thank you for that. We will take your comments under advisement and approve more information in the future. I'll now move on to testimony. Is there anyone online or on the phone who wishes to provide testimony on this matter? See no one wishing to testify. Okay, members, I would call for a vote. For the record, legislative housing chairs are non-voting members. I will not participate in this vote. This request is specific to the city and county of Honolulu. Therefore, BBB members from the counties of Hawaii and Maui agencies will also not participate in this vote. So, are there any objections or anyone wishing to abstain from supporting this motion? Approve the impact fee waiver for 1060 Bishop Street.
Chair, is it possible to wait a moment while Director Salaveria logs on to vote?
Sure, okay.
Thank you. He's logging on right now.
Just while we're waiting, I just want to clarify: the Fair Housing Act doesn't prohibit preferences for teachers. It prohibits discrimination against protected classes like race, religion, disability, and so forth. So, just for
Wayne, happy to give them first crack. I just don't know how to do that, but if there are recommendations, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Probably don't have time to work through that stuff now, but you can think about it.
Yeah. Wayne,
Hello, Chair. Director Salaveria is in the room with me.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone who wishes to object or abstain from the vote? Which again, the motion is to approve the project 1060 Bishop Street as an affordable housing project to approve the exemptions from the school impact fees. Are there any objections? Being no objection, the motion carries. Thank you, everyone. We now move on to agenda item 5A, informational presentation, not an action or decision-making agenda item. This time, I'd like to open the floor to Lindsay Ackerson to provide the presentation.
All right, aloha all. Thank you all so much for your time. I know we've had a lot of discussion today, so I'll try to keep this brief. So thank you, BBB chairs and members, for the opportunity to speak with you all today regarding progress on the affordable housing development pipeline. My name is Lindsay Apperson. I'm a policy specialist with the Office of the Governor's Housing Team, which is tasked with supporting the execution of the proclamation relating to affordable housing in the Build Beyond Barriers Working Group. So as you all know, the proclamation relating to affordable housing tasks BBB with inventorying, tracking, and coordinating the progress of affordable housing projects, infrastructure projects related to housing developments, brownfield sites that are developed primarily to provide housing, and transit-oriented development sites. So this work that we are doing to track these projects support the work that you all do to review and certify affordable housing projects under the proclamation, and then creates a process to assess the workloads of housing regulatory agencies. Today, I'll be providing an overview of affordable housing projects we've identified thus far in the pipeline for development. As a reminder, the proclamation defines affordable housing as projects that are serving predominantly those at or below 140% of the area median income or Department of Hawaiian Homelands projects as approved by the Hawaiian Homes Commission. So this definition informs the data that is in our housing development pipeline. I also want to emphasize this is an ongoing effort that provides a purview into the landscape of affordable housing development, but is in no way comprehensive yet. There are like, oh, is there a
Lindsay,
problem?
do you want to
Yes.
share the screen for the presentation?
Oh,
Tammy was just
yes.
informing me that you had a presentation.
Sorry. I thought, is it working now?
Yes, it is now.
Oh, great. Awesome. You just missed my intro slides, so that's okay. And I do want to emphasize, this is an ongoing effort. There are likely more projects that are yet to be identified, and our staff is working hard to do so in the coming months. So in our analysis thus far of affordable housing projects, particularly those receiving subsidies and public subsidies and exemptions since 2019, we've identified over 36,000 housing units in the affordable housing pipeline. Over 33,000 of those are affordable to those at or below 140% AMI. The discrepancy here, some projects are mixed income projects, so there's some market rate units associated with certain projects. And as a reference point, the 2019 Hawaii Housing Planning Study identified that we need 50,000 housing units by 2025, over two-thirds of which need to be affordable for those at or below 140% AMI. Of the projects that we've identified, only 8,000 units are reported to be reported estimated completion dates by 2025. So this really highlights the extreme shortfall that we have for affordable housing in the state. Over 3,000 units across 28 affordable housing projects broke ground or completed construction in 2023. And there are over 15,000 state affordable housing and Hawaiian homestead projects currently in the development pipeline, including HPHA's 10,000 unit Kalemomi redevelopment project. Affordable housing projects can have long development spans, so to better understand where projects fall in the pipeline for development, we're using HHFDC's tracking system to track projects that it awards financing to across 7 different stages of development. So this includes site control, entitlements, contingent financing, building permits, financial closing, construction, and occupancy. These stages are not always linear and often overlap, but generally projects move through the development process using this process flow. You can see here how many units we've identified across each of these stages. For time's sake, I won't walk you through all of this information, but we'll make sure these slides are available for your review after the presentation. So to give a little more context into what each of these stages look like, we'll walk through an example, which is the Limaola Senior and Multifamily Project. Mahalo, Adam at the Kauai County Housing Agency for helping some of this data for us and letting us highlight Limaola for this example. So in stage 1, projects are pursuing site control, meaning that they are working to identify a project site and retain rights to develop that site. So in February of 2010, the Kauai County Housing Agency secured use of a 75-acre parcel owned by the County of Kauai for Limaola. Then the project moves into entitlements. This is securing all of the proper zoning, various variances allowed for affordable housing projects for zoning and fee waivers, completing an environmental assessment, and basically all of the prep work that goes into an affordable housing project. So this starts so for Limaola, for example, in June 2016, it completed its environmental assessment. In August of 2016, the Kauai County Council approved the 201H38 application. In July 2017, Limaola received its land use district boundary amendment. In November of 2020, Limaola broke ground for critical infrastructure needed to develop the parcel. As I mentioned earlier, the project isn't always linear. So in June of 2019, Limaola secured its building permit for phase 1, that's stage 4. And then for contingent financing in January 2023, the 2 projects within the first phase of Limaola, which is the 40-unit senior and 45-unit multifamily housing projects, received an allocation from HHFDC for low-income housing tax credits. For stage 5, financial closing, this is when a project receives the official disbursement of various funding sources and secures a construction loan to then build the project. So in May of 2023, Kauai County issued private activity bonds for the project. And in June of 2023, the developers secured a construction loan for a 40-unit senior project and 45-unit multifamily project. Stage 6 is construction, so the actual process of constructing the units. In May of 2023, Limaola's senior and multifamily affordable housing project broke ground, and that is estimated to be completion in Q3 of 2024. In that same quarter, Q3 of 2024, Limaola is expected to receive its certificate of occupancy. And in Q4 of 2024, Limaola will or plans to reach full occupancy for those 2 projects. So completing stage 7, which is the occupancy stage. So that gives you an overview of the 7 stages that we're tracking projects and how they move through various stages of development so that we can better understand where projects may be getting stuck and do our due diligence to the extent possible to help move these affordable housing projects along. But based on stakeholder consultation with state and county agencies, we have identified key metrics to track across all affordable housing projects to give more public insight into the full landscape. So providing both an analysis of where projects are and then a profile of what those projects are going to add in terms of the affordable housing stock in Hawaii. This includes, but is not limited to, the total number of units and affordability of those units, the breakdown of the area median income the projects are intended to serve, including breakdowns by types of units, so like the number of bedrooms served by each of these units. We want to assess what types and quantities of public subsidies are used for the project and various financing mechanisms. We want to track the affordability periods required for each of these projects and when those expire. We want to assess the target populations these intend to serve, so whether it's intended to serve homeless individuals, families, senior populations, and then major milestones. So this includes estimated completion dates, groundbreakings, grand openings, when projects receive their permits, and other really critical milestones that help us understand where projects are in the process. So right now we've identified approximately 165 affordable housing projects in the pipeline for development. And, this spans a wide range of 10 years or so. And we will continue to collect this kind of data through reviewing public documents, working with state and county agencies to verify information, and tracking project process under the proclamation relating to affordable housing. By Q2 of 2024, we plan to have an affordable housing pipeline dashboard available to the public to increase transparency of projects currently in the pipeline for development, affordable housing projects, organized across these 7 stages of development. We will also begin tracking major regional infrastructure projects that can help unlock future affordable housing development as outlined in the proclamation. And then ongoing, some of the stuff that we're doing now that we plan to continue. We'll continue tracking projects to identify and resolve where possible sticking points across these 7 stages of developments to help unlock more affordable housing units for Hawaii residents sooner. We'll provide regular trend analysis as a resource for legislators and department heads to inform future legislative and administrative changes. And then, of course, continue to refine and maintain the database. And then one final note before I wrap up, we're also tasked with providing regular updates on projects proceeding under the proclamation. You all have just approved the first project through the BBB, and we'll provide updates on project progress in future meetings. But as you all know, state affordable housing projects may proceed under the EP without going through the Build Beyond Barriers working group. So we have 2 updates on projects proceeding under the proclamation. So first is HPHA's Kapa'a Affordable Housing Project on Kauai County. This will be 124 units. You can see the unit breakdown here, 14 at 30% AMI, 14 at 50% AMI, and 95 at 60% AMI, plus 1 manager's unit. And it will be a mix of 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units. The project is using the 201H process available for state projects under the proclamation. You can see what that timeline looks like here. And likely through the normal process, this project would have been delayed until the 2025 LIHTC application cycle. So essentially, this process that's available for state projects under the proclamation could expedite the project by a year if awarded financing in 2024. But this process has really helped get the project in sooner along that development timeline. Last is HPHA's Mayor Wright's Home Project in Honolulu County in Kalihi. This redevelopment will yield 202,448 units. You can see the AMI breakdown here, but spanning units from 30 to 140% AMI, really focused on creating a mixed income community with a mix of studio, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bedroom units. This project is also proceeding under the 201H process available for state projects under the proclamation. And similarly, through the normal process, the project would have been delayed until at least the 2025 LIHTC application cycle. So doing some work here to move this project along quicker and hopefully yield units sooner to Hawaii residents. Great, and that concludes the presentation. I'm happy to take any questions or comments. And we really look forward to giving further insight into the landscape of affordable housing projects in the pipeline for development. And we'll continue to provide updates at future BBB meetings on the project's progress.
Thank you, Lindsay. That's great work you folks are doing on tracking affordable housing projects. Members, do you have any questions for Lindsay?
Just have a question about the 2 HPHA projects. So the proclamation gave them was it only the provisions regarding 201H and city council approval that was used? Or county council, I mean, sorry. Or city, yeah.
Can you want to take that question?
Wayne, do you mind repeating the question, please?
Just suspensions of law were used under the proclamation for those two, the project in Kauai and
Yeah, the 218, these are federal projects, so we'll have to do a lot of things such as NEPA and other things. But we are going to go through the 218 through that process.
Right. So the EP was only to get around the colony council approval. Is that right?
Yeah, that will be helpful. That also the EP allows us for the staffing, but it has nothing to do with this project.
Okay, right, from before.
Thanks, Wayne.
Okay,
Any other questions? Sorry, Wayne, go ahead.
Oh, no, Paul.
Okay. Any other questions? Right. Thank you, Lindsay. Is there any testimony on this? Okay. No testimony. Before we move to adjourn the meeting, meetings moving forward are tentatively scheduled for the third Wednesday of each month. Please check hawaii.gov website for updates. And before we adjourn, are there any matters that members wish to bring up at this time?
Just really quick, isn't the third Wednesday of January opening day? I mean, we had trouble with quorum today.
So we likely will change that date.
Okay.
Yes. So check. We will let you know when the next meeting is scheduled.
Okay.
Any other matters that members would like to bring up at this time?
Yeah, I appreciate that there is a memo sent out to in response to some of the issues that I've been trying to get us to talk about since pretty much the first meeting. I do think these matters need more discussion. You know, with by the BBB group, and so I would again like to reiterate my request that we agendize these things, because that will really help, I think, our meetings move faster, help improve public confidence in the process, and help us understand really what our roles and scope of responsibilities are.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. If you think there are items that need more clarification, I think the best thing to do is to email us and we can provide a written response to all the BBB members, trying to strike a balance of providing appropriate, all the information the members need, while also having the meeting run efficiently. Hope you understand.
Right,
that.
this will help meetings run more efficiently if we can iron these things out. And I think the back and forth email process it's not super transparent, and also doesn't allow for the kind of nuanced like discussions that we should be having. You know, just you know, I think, for example, you know, like understanding what should be appropriate in terms of, like, you know, potential conflicts of interest. You know, there's you know, private entities on this working group that could work with developers that benefit from the proclamation. So things like that, I think, need to have a robust, open discussion rather than, you know, these private emails. And I've been emailing repeatedly for some opportunities to discuss this at our meetings since, you know, for months now. And yeah, I really think like there's, again, these are foundational to how we do our work, and you know, and I think the public has interest as well in knowing, you know, why and how we do what we do.
Thank you, Wayne. We'll take your suggestion under advisement. Any other matters that you wish to discuss? If not, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Second. Moved.
Second.
Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to see you all.